KHOU TV, Houston. And now, from 11 News in Houston, Steve Smith, Marlene McClinton, Dr. Neil Frank with weather, and Gib Nielsen on sports. This is KHOU 11 News at 5.
They're off and running in Texas, not on the tracks, in the courts. A high-stakes lawsuit is brought to the post over Texas horse racing. It could tie up that industry and litigation here for years. Good evening, everybody. Marlene is on maternity leave. Susan Banks is joining us this evening. A group of Houston investors who were denied a horse racing license has filed a federal lawsuit charging some of the state's highest officials with racketeering and conspiracy.
The suit alleges those officials were part of a scheme to control the state's fledgling horse racing industry. 11 News reporter Philip Bruce joins us now with more. Phil?
Well, Susan, the suit was filed by the remaining investors in a group known as the Houston Turf Club. Their allegations read like something out of a conspiracy novel, but the Turf Club says it can back up the charges with evidence. They wanted to build a first-class racetrack on a stretch of land in northwest Houston. But last November, after months of wrangling with the State Racing Commission, the Houston Turf Club lost its bid for a Class 1 license. Now the Turf Club is suing, charging the Racing Commission's decision was a product of a massive conspiracy to put Texas horse racing into the hands of a select few.
We didn't realize, nor did the voters of Texas realize, that the first race in Texas was fixed. The race for the Class 1 license. We had no chance of winning.
The Turf Club's lawsuit alleges the state's highest officials, including the governor, the attorney general, and the entire racing commission, were involved in the conspiracy. The suit says illegal funds were raised to bribe state officials. And it charges that the mastermind of the scheme was Edward DeBartolo Sr., who owns horse tracks all over the country, including Louisiana Downs outside Shreveport.
We believe that Mr. Bartolo has participated in this conspiracy. We believe that he has organizations in place to control racing in this state.
Governor Clements learned about the lawsuit while he was in Washington today, and he angrily dismissed allegations that he took part in a conspiracy.
I haven't heard of the lawsuit. I don't know anything about it. No one's told me about it, and I don't know what they're talking about. Other than that, I'm very well informed.
Today, there are no first-class tracks such as this one anywhere in Texas. The Turf Club says that's because DeBartolo wanted it that way. They allege the scheme was to hold up all of the licenses until the state reduced its wagering tax from 5% down to 1 or 2%. Once that happened, the suit alleges DeBartolo would move in.
His purpose, my friend, is to have all the tracks in Texas.
The Turf Club has yet to offer any hard proof to support those allegations, but the group says it will release some evidence tomorrow. And the attorneys have hinted that may include some tape-recorded conversations of the people named in the suit. See?
Any reason why they're going to wait until tomorrow, Philip?
Other than to maximize the exposure in this case, we really don't know. We kept asking them about it. We tried to get more details about it. They say they've conducted a 6-month investigation, and I've gotten the U.S. attorney interested in this, but we have gotten nothing from anyone official.
Bottom line, nobody's going to build a track in Texas for years until this gets settled.
Not for a while. This could tangle things up for quite some time.
Okay. In other news tonight, a hot debate is brewing at Houston City Hall over the idea of a so-called commuter tax. Suburbanites would be asked to pay $1 a day head tax for the privilege of working inside the city limits while living in the suburbs. Councilman Ernest McGowan is pushing the controversial idea. On this week's taping of Steve Smith Sunday, McGowan says taxing commuter employees is the right thing to do.
We furnish them with fire protection, police protection, garbage pickup, the strain that's on our sewage system and wastewater system.
Even though it may have some logic to it, I think it's so counterproductive that it's a bad deal.
And Mancuso says the commuter tax plan is dead on arrival. Many council members say it would encourage businesses to set up shop outside the city limits. Mayor Kathy Whitmire and others say it is an idea that is at least worth its studying. The full McGowan interview can be seen Sunday morning at 9:30.
Joining us live now from our newsroom is City Controller George Granius.
We'll talk about this for just a minute. Mr. Granius, we hear that against such a tax, of course, the idea that the businesses would locate just outside the city limits, maybe a block outside. Do you go along with that?
Well, I think that's a real concern, especially now that our economy is turning around and we're beginning to attract new businesses as well as see the businesses that are here start to grow. But quite frankly, I think the concern I have is a little more practical one. Our next budget year starts July 1st of this year, and even if council were to adopt this suggestion, and that would require, I think, some state legislation to do so, it's several years off. My concern is more the fact that right now, frankly, our revenues are going up. Almost every area of revenue for the city is moving upward, and the projections for next year are similar. And I'm wondering why, with revenues going up, we don't have enough money to meet the needs that the council perceives. I think that the real focus this year will have to be not on a commuter tax, which if it's in our future is quite a ways down our future, but what we're going to do about the expenditure side of the budget, how we're going to spend the revenues that are coming in increasing amounts even now.
Do you have any ideas, Mr. Granius, on that?
Well, I think that Al Haynes, the Director of Finance Administration, is to be commended. He proposed that we reorganize a number of our city departments, including Public Works. That came out of a suggestion made by me and several other council members, and that would save us, just in terms of the reorganization itself, about $2.5 million, just by setting up a more efficient structure. And beyond that are the efficiencies you get out of a system where you can hold people more accountable for the job they do. In addition, as you know, we've been pursuing in the Comptroller's Office a very vigorous program of auditing for waste and fraud and abuse. And we've discovered to date, in less than a year, over $7 million worth of that kind of activity.
Meantime, no commuter tax, at least not anytime
Not
soon.
in our immediate future, no.
Have a good weekend, sir.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The Houston Vice Squad spent last night scouring South Main and came up with 41 arrests. All 41 are men charged with soliciting prostitutes. It was the second such sting operation in 2 weeks, and as Sandy Rivera reports, police want the message heard loud and far.
This neighborhood near the Astrodome is a well-known area for drugs and prostitution, and those illegal activities increase when big attractions like the rodeo are in town. After a flurry of complaints, Vice officers decided to crack down again.
Sir, go ahead and put your hands behind your back. Walk back there.
Female undercover officers acted as decoys, arresting 41 would-be customers.
We've arrested everybody from probation officers to males coming up soliciting for prostitution with small children in the back of the car.
Police admit the stings won't wipe out prostitution completely, but they want to send a message to potential customers. Buyer beware.
You not only have the prostitutes, you have a lot of drugging going along, you have a lot of robberies that go along with these prostitutions, and we're trying to make this rodeo be just as safe as we possibly can.
Houston Vice Squad officers say that future stings are planned for this area, and the next one could come before the rodeo ends March the 4th. Sadie Rivera, 11 News.
A Houston man is charged with murder this evening following an argument over a stolen car. Robert Raspberry was killed yesterday after he complained to friends that Troy Haynes had stolen his car. Haynes overheard Raspberry. Police say Haynes shot the 19-year-old man, killing him. A teenage girl was wounded in the leg in the incident. It happened in a fast food restaurant parking lot. Haynes was on probation for burglary at the time of the shooting. And for the second time in a week, the son of the Egyptian consul in Houston is back in court on drug charges. 17-year-old Sharif El Gamrari faces 2 felony counts on drug delivery charges. El Gamrari and 6 other people were arrested last week after they allegedly sold the drug ecstasy to undercover agents. The teenager was released. Then he was arrested again yesterday for selling the same drug. Bond is set at $10,000.
No settlement reported in talks to end the Kroger strike, but the two sides are still meeting to try to end the 5-day impasse. At a North Houston hotel, union representatives and Kroger officials are trying to reach agreement on a 3-year contract. But so far today, talks have been slow going. Workers continue to picket the grocery store chain, and they insist only 10% of employees are back on the job, not the 40% claimed by Kroger. This is going to be one big weekend. We've got the rodeo and we've got Mardi Gras coming up. A live report from Galveston for the big weekend on the island, Brazil style.
And you know, whether it's rodeo or Mardi Gras, Neil says it will be a very nice weekend. And later, Ray Miller takes us to Dallas, where an old trolley has been brought back to life.
11 News is brought to you in part by Walgreens, superior healthcare technology.
21st century technology works day and night to link all Walgreens pharmacies, so your current Walgreens prescription records are always as close as your nearest Walgreens. With Intercom, we can tell you when savings are available. We may even help prevent an allergic reaction. Concerned pharmacists, superior healthcare technology, only at Walgreens.
Here's a double good offer from Walgreens. Get a second set of big 35mm 4x6-inch show prints free, including a free $1.99 value album.
Your Chevy First Team dealers want to give you what you've always wanted in a car.
A low price.
You got it. Beretta's only $99.95. That includes your $750 cash rebate.
I want a lot of options.
You got it. Buy a Beretta GTZ loaded with all this equipment standard.
Okay. Help me with my down payment.
You got it. First-time buyers get $600 to apply toward your down payment. So don't wait. Get your new Beretta now.
Hey, I got it.
See your Chevy First Team dealer now.
Someday, you will find a Hawaii that is part of all of us.
Of all the people who visit Hawaii, few ever really see it. With American Hawaii Cruises, you won't miss a thing.
Colon cancer affects more adults than any other malignancy. Early diagnosis and specialized care improves cure and can save your life. Screening for blood in the stool and a fiber optic examination are proven in diagnosing early colon cancer, while colonoscopy is an excellent technique for viewing the entire colon. Our physicians at Diagnostic Clinic recommend that people have regular screenings. For further information, call us.
Diagnostic Clinic of Houston, where diagnosis is just the beginning.
Galveston's Mardi Gras celebration comes to a close this weekend, but the best has been saved for last.
So there are plenty of opportunities left for those inclined to do so to enjoy the parties and the parades and all that. 11 News reporter Dave Failing is getting a head start on the weekend. He joins us now live from Galveston. Are the good times rolling yet down there, my friend?
Oh, they definitely are. And I tell you, the weather could not be better. They are expecting some 350,000 people to come down this weekend to see Mardi Gras here in Galveston. The weather today has been perfect, and they're expecting another great day tomorrow. With me is Otis Day. You certainly have heard of him. He is going to host the infamous Shout Out tomorrow, what, 4 o'clock or so?
Yeah, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
You do this every year for the past, have done it for 4 years now.
Is it 4 years? I don't know if it's 3 or 4. Is it 4?
But you're having fun every year regardless.
Yes.
What are you going to do tomorrow? The same as we've done in the past?
Yes, with a little new tricks, little stuff. I don't want to give it up.
Well, this is part of the show.
Yeah.
You're going to reserve some things like that.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, we're going to look forward to being down the Strand tomorrow at 4 o'clock for the
Okay.
Shout Out with you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Otis.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Thank you. And behind me here is Lula and the Afro Brazil, and they're going to show us what they can do. And if this all looks like fun to you, come on down to Galveston, and we will. And you'll get to see a lot of this sort of thing. The theme, of course, is Brazil this year. Afro Brazil here performing behind us. Come on down. Back to you.
Looks like those folks are ready to go, Dave. I'm sure you can't hear. Never mind.
I can't. Couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Enjoy it, Dave. Never mind.
It's probably just as well. It's going to be fairly warm in the island if those folks are going to dress up like that. Those ladies need the sun out, don't they?
We might want to raise the temperature a little bit. I don't know.
I think the temperature was raised right there.
I tell you what, boy, it is a beautiful day, no question about that. But we've got some bad news as we take a look at our allergy problem. We knew that it was going to happen. Those pollen are expected to move up into the high category. Oak is a big problem, but there is some good news. The mold spores are expected to move back down into the medium category as we get a drying out as this cold air mass moves down over us. The weather looks pretty good. We're going to talk about it when we come back.
11 News is brought to you in part by Walgreens, superior healthcare technology.
Save now at McDuff's giant name brand audio, video, and appliance sale featuring for a limited time only 0% interest until June, no down payment, and no payments of any kind until June. That's right, buy now at McDuff and there's no interest and no payments till June. Plus, you get McDuff's guaranteed low sale prices on Sony, Panasonic, RCA, Magnavox, JVC, Pioneer, Maytag, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, and more. So save now at McDuff with no interest and no payments till June.
Remember, your satisfaction is guaranteed at McDuff.
Several months ago, Star Furniture had its greatest single day in history. It was called the Greatest One Day Sale. And now it's coming back for one more colossal day. All Star stores were closed today to get ready for the return of the greatest one-day sale tomorrow. For one day only, save 15 to 57% on everything. And with Star's famous interest-free financing, you don't pay till June. The greatest one-day sale. It's back Saturday, 10 to 9.
I've driven Toyotas 500,000 miles. In 1982, I bought a Toyota 4x4, and 8 years later, I got over $3,100 back for it. That means I own that truck for about $100 a month. I use my truck in field work as an archaeologist. 155,000 miles, and all I replaced was an alternator. I just bought a 1990 4x4 Toyota pickup. It's easy to see why I love my new Toyota.
Toyota quality pays for itself. That's why it pays to see your Toyota dealer now.
After bringing your prescription into an iMasters optical superstore and selecting your frames from thousands in stock, with the help of an eye care specialist, within about 60 minutes, your glasses from iMasters will be ready. Because every iMasters optical superstore has a lab to custom make your lenses in about 60 minutes. And now, when you buy one, get a second pair free. Look for the coupon in your newspaper. Get a better look at iMasters.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this beautiful weather, and it was pretty out there today. Little on the nippy side, but boy, there was a lot of sun, and that was good to see after all that rain that we've been seeing now for several weeks, it seems like. As we put the satellite pictures in motion for the last 24 hours, you can see the western edge of the clouds that moved up by us on Wednesday, and they'll clear right on out. And look at the skies over Texas, a lot of sunshine. I flew back in from the southern Mississippi coast today, went right over New Orleans. If you're headed over that direction, it's looking good over there too. But I would take a jacket because it's going to be chilly in the evenings, mild in the daytime, and the same will hold true if you're going down to Galveston. So Mardi Gras East, Mardi Gras South, both look good for the weekend. Now, it was a little chilly over the state last night as this air that's from Canada finally moved down over top of us. You can see that everybody was reporting in the 30s inland. We had some readings in the 40s down along the coastline. 38 degrees at Intercontinental. That's 7 degrees below normal now for this time of the year. And the 48 on the island is 4 degrees below normal. Here's the high pressure area that is controlling our weather. It has moved in behind the front that moved by us on Wednesday. And with all the sunshine, temperatures moved back up into the 60s this afternoon. San Antonio even made it up to 73. But the good news is you see sunshine over the entire state. Now, locally, we had a 67 out at Intercontinental. That's about what it's supposed to be this time of the year. 65 down on the island. A small craft advisory is in effect. Look at these winds. They're blowing out of the northwest. 15, gusting at times to 30. Hobby has been reporting winds this afternoon, 20, gusting to 30. Now, there's the storm system that moved by us on Wednesday. Here's the high that dominates our weather. Watch this system here, because as it moves on to the east coast, it's going to bring some more Canadian air down. That may come by us, but I don't think it's going to have any effect on our clouds. But will keep us a little nippy at night, but mild in the daytime. That's what the forecast would call for. You can see if you're going out for evening activities, you better take a jacket down there on the island tonight, because it could be in the 40s when you come back. Overnight, I think we'll be back down to about 35, and the skies are going to stay clear. And then tomorrow afternoon, with a lot of sunshine, we'd ought to get back up in the 60s. So not bad weather. Just take a coat at night.
Well, with all this Mardi Gras business, we can't forget the rodeo and livestock show going on, too. And a new indoor rodeo attendance record was set at the Dome last night. More than 55,000 people backed the Dome to enjoy the rodeo and to hear the country music singer George Strait.
Well, we know who wanted to hear George Strait. Every woman within a 1,000-mile radius. Well, everyone's getting some rest now, including the rodeo animals. Sam Saucedo has a live report on the four-legged performers in the show. Sam?
Well, Susan and Steve, you ever wonder where the big bulls, the big bucking broncs come from out here to perform out here? Well, they're bought at big shows or from private individuals, and some of the big beasts performing on the floor of the Astrodome this week and next were raised in northwest Harris County.
The big beasts don't usually have names. They're too ornery for that. All they need is a number to strike fear or intimidate.
Riding mask on and the face protection.
Each night, these 1,200-pound animals are ridden or saddled just once. After that, they're rested for a few days. At a 2-week show like the Houston Rodeo, they'll probably perform twice. And helping to provide some of the stock is Cy-Fair High School. The agriculture department has been raising animals for years. The horses and bulls are kept in a field next door to the high school. And every once in a while, some of the school's former stock performs in the big show, like this one.
So these are some of the colts that we're bucking at now. We got 2 mares that had colts 2 years ago, the younger ones in here, that we'll probably buck them out next year. And eventually, in another year or so, if they're good enough, then we'll sell them to some big rodeo producer.
Well, trying to ride one of those is certainly a tough way to make a living. This fellow behind me, by the way, is a red Brahma, weighs about 460 pounds, 3 months old. He'll be full grown in about 4 years when he maxes out at well over a ton. And by the way, at 6 o'clock, Norm at Work will be on the floor of the Astrodome where some of those big beasts are performing. Susan, Steve?
Okay, Sam.
That young one, watch him. He's got an eye on you, Sam. I wouldn't try to ride him.
Sam, you better watch out there, buddy. Don't look safe.
Things are said to be moving in a good direction in the baseball spring training lockout.
When we come back, Gift talks to Jim Deshaies, the Astros player rep, for an update on the baseball talks. Stay with us.
Texans don't agree on a lot of things. Take, for instance, the argument regarding the world's best university. Seems to stir up quite a debate. But when it comes to the best small car value, the decision's unanimous. Ford Escort, the world's best-selling car. Sure, all Texans know the best universities are in Texas, and Ford Escort is the best value. But deciding on the best color, well, that's an entirely different matter.
Texas, Ford and you.
Rodeo proud. More than a feeling, a Houston tradition. Don's Western Wear is proud to celebrate 58 years of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Get rodeo comfortable in Wrangler jeans, worn by the real American cowboys at Don's Western Wear. Wranglers, from the original Pro Rodeo cowboy jeans to the new Silver Lake jeans for women. So cowboys, cowgirls, get fit in a pair of Wrangler jeans at Don's Western Wear, your Houston Rodeo headquarters.
Don's Western Wear is Texas proud.
The question is, how do you get the sofa you want in the style and fabric you want and get it in 35 days? The answer, Furniture Idea. And save now during our grand opening sale. First, make your choice from over 400 styles and choose from over 1,000 fabrics. Then put the fabric of your choice on the style of your choice and get it as a sofa and love seat, or a sleeper and chair, or even a sectional, and get delivery in just 35 days. Save now during Furniture Idea's grand opening sale.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's fact. They are very aggressive and unpredictable. They've killed large animals like horses, cattle, and even people. They can move up to 400 miles a year and could be in Texas in a matter of weeks. But the government has done little to stop them. Starting Tuesday, 11 News reporter John Getter separates fact from fiction about killer bees. Watch Bee Alert, starting Tuesday, only on 11 News at 6.
Well, are we about to have baseball? Here's the man.
I was thinking at this particular time we could tell everybody that we were going to have baseball, but not yet. It appears something positive is happening with the baseball talks in New York. Negotiators for both sides met for most of the afternoon today and have agreed to work over the weekend. The Astros players representative is Jimmy Deshaies, and Jimmy joins us from his home in Pecan Grove. Jimmy, thanks for being with us. Still no agreement. Another week passes. Are we threatening opening day just yet?
Well, until there's an agreement, it's being threatened. However, the talks have turned positive. Yesterday's proposal, I think, was a step in the right direction. The fact that they talked basically all day today has to be a positive sign. So hopefully we can get something hammered out by early next week, and if we do, I don't think we're going to lose opening day.
Union Chief Donald Fear says there's a large chasm or gap still between the main issues in this particular negotiations. Being the Astros player rep, Jimmy, how do you get the information from New York to pass along to your teammates?
Well, I've been in contact with the Players Association every day now the last few days, with Tim Belcher, who's on the negotiating committee. He and I have been talking just about every night. He gets his information. He's been in on the meetings and the talks, so he's obviously well-versed on what's going on.
Will they take your input?
Oh, sure. You know, that's part of the problem, or maybe not the problem, but that's part of the mechanics of the whole deal. Don has to represent 800 and some odd players, so he needs to hear from player reps, and that's why we have a meeting scheduled Tuesday. If nothing's finalized by then, he's got to get with the player reps and you know, address some of these proposals and really get into the meat of them and find out where we're at and what he advises.
I'm sure you hear this all the time. Fans are saying that they can't understand how players making so much money and owners making so much money having difficulties getting together in these negotiations. Do you hear that all the time?
Certainly, certainly. And you know, they have a point. I understand their frustration. Both sides are doing very well, and that's our point. Our stance throughout the negotiations has been that the game has never been healthier. Therefore, we didn't see a reason for a lockout to begin with, and that's why we had hoped there'd been more proposals like the one they put on the board yesterday. We thought we'd see something like that in November or December, and if we had, we'd probably have an agreement. We'd be in spring training by now.
In the meantime, you're working on your golf game. How's that?
Well, I didn't hurt anybody today. We hit a couple houses and dug up some dirt at Pecan Grove, but I'd rather be playing baseball, to tell you the truth.
Okay, it might happen this weekend. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Giff.
Jimmy Deshaies is the players rep for the Astros. Basketball news, the Houston Rockets back playing tonight in New Jersey against Bill Fitch and the Nets. Tonight, head coach Don Chaney says newly acquired guard Vernon Maxwell will play. We'll see. Coming up at 6, John McEnroe's appeal for being disqualified in the Australian Open has been turned down. We'll tell you more about that coming up in an hour.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Giff.
Coming up, riding the trolley in Ray Miller's Texas.
Bill, Carol, glad you could make it for dinner. Ah, little Susie, too. Come on in. Ah, the twins, isn't that great? And Uncle Joe and Aunt Alice and honey, Cousin Ted and Will and the wife, and you all came in.
Don't worry, Pizza Hut delivers. Now you can get an NCAA mini basketball for only $2.99 with every Pizza Hut pizza delivered. But call now, they're going fast. The NCAA mini basketball from Pizza Hut.
Making it great.
If you're in the market for audio, video, home office equipment, and appliances, come to Highland this weekend, because Highland Superstores offers great values on everything in every store. For 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, this GE remote on-screen programmable VHS video recorder is a great value at $217. So if you're in the market for audio, video, home office equipment, and appliances, this is the weekend to do it. And Highland is the place.
These movies have to be back tomorrow, right?
Relax. With Blockbuster Video's 3-evening rentals, you can watch all the newest releases, like Turner and Hooch from Touchstone Home Video. Turner is neat. Hooch is not. Now they're roommates.
No, not the car!
And it's a smash hit. Tom Hanks is downright funny. Turner and Hooch, rated PG from Touchstone Home Video.
More movies, more nights, more fun.
Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference!
Don't forget the franchise show this weekend only, February 24th and 25th, 11 to 5:30 at the JW Marriott Hotel, 5150 Westheimer, across from the Galleria. That's the franchise show this weekend only.
Some old streetcars and a short trolley line have been resurrected in Dallas because workers found old rails under the pavement and because the people were meeting on this Friday visit to Ray Miller's Texas.
I found this car in a private collection in San Francisco and bought the thing right then and there.
Phil Cobb operates a restaurant on McKinney Avenue, and he helped start the McKinney Avenue Transit Authority. Volunteer Chief Mechanic Ed Landrum says this car actually ran on McKinney Avenue before Dallas changed to buses in the 1950s.
It had been a man's home for years, and when he died, his nephew hauled it off and dumped it off in the woods on his farm. 20 pounds.
The Transit Authority volunteers restored it. Frank Schultz built the undercarriage from scratch.
The only factory part in the brake rigging is the brake cylinder itself.
I had a motorcycle policeman clock me doing 12 miles an hour yesterday.
Howard Bond is one of the MATA's volunteer motormen.
Certainly, certainly. Welcome aboard.
The motorman has only a bell to warn other traffic.
Just kind of a little warning, you get them a little like that. Or if they get real frustrating on your track, get them off your track, get off there.
Some passengers ride the cars for convenience. Most ride just for kicks.
Hi, come on in. Hi. Probably another kid looking for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. A lot of times we have the grandparents that bring the grandkids and say, this is the way I used to go to school, or I used to ride to work on this. See you later. Okay. Have a good day's work. Yeah. This is where our power comes from, 600-volt overhead line.
To reverse direction, he just changes the trolley poles. It is not making money yet, but the MATA is making friends.
Dallas Chamber of Commerce consider we're one of the top 10 attractions city of Dallas now.
This is Texas, and I'm Ray Miller.
So if you want to spend a jolly hour on the trolley, go to Dallas.
Go to Big D.
Yeah. Got to be one reason to go there, I guess.
That's news at 5.
You'll be here with Sylvan at 6?
At 6 o'clock.
Right.
Join
I'll
us
see
then.
you again tonight at 10.